Hi everyone, welcome to My Green Closet. So today I have another special guest for you. We have Francesca from the blog Ethical Unicorn here to give us a little peek into her wardrobe. And she's a really incredible blog where she not only talks about sustainable fashion, but all kinds of important topics. And she also has really amazing style, so I can't wait to learn more about some of her favorite pieces. Let's jump right into it.
Hello, my name is Francesca Willow. I run the blog Ethical Unicorn, where I talk about sustainable living and social justice. I'm a big believer that the best way to see change happen is to combine consumer choice, collective action and policy change, so I try and talk about a wide variety of things on the blog in the sustainable sphere. I'm going to try and show these as best I can. It's these trousers that I got in Japan this year. There's a couple of reasons for this. I wrote a blog post about this at the time, but basically these are huge. They do fit my waist, but they are long and kind of very flared at the bottom. When I went to Japan this year, I was really interested seeing how so many people weren't in skinny jeans, because in London it's kind of everyone is wearing skinny jeans all the time, and I don't really like that much all of the time, but it was something that I was doing, a way I was dressing, because I felt like that was how you were supposed to dress. And so I think when I first got these, in terms of the silhouette, they were a really big life lesson for me to dress how I want to dress and things that I find interesting and enjoy, not because of how I think I should dress compared to other people. So there's that side of it, the feeling free and feeling more empowered, which is great, and that is a big thing that I care about in life for all people. So that's quite a cool thing that I think about when I wear these. It's crazy colourful, but kind of in a subtle way. It's floral. I think this was actually originally a Liberty fabric from Liberty London, but I got these in a secondhand store, so that's also very me. Nearly everything that I buy is secondhand, so they're very indicative of just lots of ways that I shop. I really enjoy things that are unique and feel like no one else has them, which is something that I'm aware of in my attitude to fashion. Obviously they're quite loud, so you do have to pair them with something a little bit more minimal. Like, I don't want to go fully crazy. Yeah, freeing, fun, interesting, patterned, colourful, all the things that I like sort of playing around with. This is a funny one because I guess it's different for each person. For me, a large part of shopping consciously, how I started shopping consciously, was secondhand. I have been secondhand shopping, charity shopping, vintage shopping since I was about 13, like a solid 12 years. I know that that originated not out of a desire to be more sustainable, but out of a desire to not look like anyone else, which is good to have that in check now and know why I'm making decisions that I'm making and being self-aware. It was just a happy coincidence as I got more into sustainability that it turned out that was a very sustainable way to work. It keeps things out of landfill, it extends the life of things. You know, something that someone else doesn't love anymore or doesn't need anymore can live a much longer life. I have so many things that definitely used to belong to like grandparents probably, and it's cool to give them a new lease of life. You get to have more fun, be more experimental. I am also an artist, so it definitely appeals to that side of things. But that is just one way to do it. I think other things to think about if you're buying firsthand is, firstly, the people that are making your clothes, are they being paid well? Are they being treated well? Are they, you know, working normal hours? Are they getting paid well with good benefits? Are they not in bonded labour? How fast or slow is your fashion? Are things being handmade over a long period of time? Or are they just being churned out with kind of no soul or interest in the people who are making them and their well-being? And then there's other questions around materials. Obviously, natural materials like cottons and linens, if they're organic, are going to be a lot better than synthetic materials like polyester that are shedding microfibers into waterways and aren't going to biodegrade, so are just going to stick around forever. How durable are the things that you're buying? Are they things, firstly, that will be long lasting in your wardrobe with your style? And are there also things that aren't going to fall apart and things that are going to stand the test of time? So I understand it can be quite overwhelming when you're thinking about all these things and don't expect to just jump right in and have all this knowledge straight away. You pick it up as you go along, so slow steps and trying to learn more is always really good. In terms of a good example of something I've consciously purchased, again it's secondhand. I'll show you the back first, then I'll do a bit of a reveal. So it looks like just a normal white shirt. It's fully 100% cotton, but you turn it around, you've got a cheeky little giraffe eating some leaves on the collar. It's just a very Fran thing to get. I do also have things in my wardrobe that are a little more simple. I would class this as one. It is and it's a staple white shirt, but with like a little bit of a twist. It's a little bit interesting. People comment on it all the time. Because I've been secondhand shopping for so long, I got a lot better with learning about materials, because you just sort of find through practice that if you buy secondhand but you do buy synthetic materials, they often still don't last, they often aren't great quality. Pre even writing about this stuff, I'd kind of already moved away from synthetics because they don't really feel like a good achievement as a purchase, a secondhand purchase, and also it wasn't lasting very long. This is another kind of crazier Fran piece, but I've had this for I think a decade. I have quite a lot of old pieces because I haven't grown. I'm actually very short and haven't grown in about 10 years, so it's not that surprising for me to hold on to things for a long time. Also, it's more sustainable. But it's this jacket. It is crazy, I am aware. I don't have a photo of this, so I'm gonna put it on just so you can see. I got this on eBay at in a vintage like store, which is funny. I'm not actually the biggest eBay shopper, but for some reason I ended up here. This was like in the MySpace days, I think. So I think I was like following these people on MySpace and looked at their store. Obviously, it's kind of crazy pastel colors. We've got some pinks and some yellows and some blues, and it has destinations on it. So Leaning Tower of Pisa, Eiffel Tower. I think that. Oh yeah, that's Athens there. It's kind of like this weird travel jacket, and it looks like the kind of thing that would be synthetic, but it's actually 100% silk. I can't wear it all the time, firstly because it's loud. It actually goes quite nicely with this outfit though. It is quite a statement. You can't wear anything too crazy with it, but also because it's 100% silk, you know, it's not like a winter jacket, so depending on the weather, you have to kind of think about when you're gonna wear this. But I love it. I do wear it every year, but it's not like an everyday jacket, obviously. But it is well loved. I'll never get rid of this. It's just so, like, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I love it. It is this little bangle. This might not look like that exciting, but this actually has such an amazing story. It's made by a company called Article 22. I've met them in person and they are firstly the nicest people, but the way the company operates is amazing. They're an ethical jewelry brand based in New York and Laos. So basically Laos was very heavily bombed during the Vietnam War with a lot of cluster munitions, which is basically when bomb drops and then it spreads kind of mini bombs, and they were the most bombed, the like highest bombed country per capita, and it's just made it very, very difficult for people living there. What was already happening in Laos is that when bombs were being whether it was an accidental explosion or controlled by like mine clearing groups, the artisans in Laos were taking all the shrapnel from bombs and other sort of leftover things from the war, melting them down and turning them into spoons. And Article 22, Elizabeth, who runs it, she was in Laos and met these people and obviously saw what they were doing was so innovative and such an incredibly sustainable use of materials, but also a great way to reuse something, turn it into something more positive. However, obviously there's not a huge market for spoons worldwide, so they ended up setting up Article 22. Artisans now melt down this bomb shrapnel to make a whole variety of different jewelry, different designs. It works very much in conjunction, so it's not just some American who's barged in and is helping them out. It really is a collaborative and equal process, which I think is really important when you're doing work in other countries. It's really great for numerous reasons: sustainable use of materials, reusing materials that already exist, the fact that these things used to be bombs and now they're made into something really beautiful and something that people can enjoy and brings happiness, a much different feeling to the feeling that a bomb brings. At the same time, the profits that are made are then sent back to Mines Advisory Group, which funds the clearing of more mines, makes land safe again for the people, but it also means that that land can then be reclaimed to be farmed on again, because obviously you can't farm on land if there might be bombs there. So it kind of has this double economic benefit where it helps safety and gives them an income from making jewelry, but also helps them then grow food and farm again on their land. So it's just really great. They're also very vocal about the banning of cluster munitions and a very knowledgeable company. I really like them a lot. Also, Emma Watson is a fan, so that should tell you something about how good they are. This is the one I have two for. They're similar but different. The first one, it's a dress, but it doesn't look like a dress at first. It is cotton, it is all white. It's a little bit creased because it's been on the sofa with me, but it's actually it's got a really interesting neckline. I got this secondhand, as always, also in Japan. My best friend used to live in Japan for a long time, and my dad worked for a Japanese company. I'm not just like always going there to buy clothes. But yeah, this is basically really plain actually, but I really like the cut of it. So it's a bit of a departure from some of the other pattern stuff I have, but it just always makes me feel really good. The silhouette is really interesting. And also, this is just for me, but I really enjoy it. It has this little, I probably can't get that to focus, but it has this patch right at the bottom that no one really notices, but I really enjoy it because I don't know what it's meant to mean, because I don't know where this originally came from. Could have been made in Japan, could have been made anywhere, that just says entering underground New York, area patrolled. Anything is possible. She went there in 1967. Who knows what that means? And I love it because most people don't notice that. It always gives me a little bit of internal pleasure. Makes me laugh a bit. So that's really nice. The other piece that I chose is oversized. I really like big slouchy silhouettes a lot of the time. I'm also really short, so most things are oversized on me. This I got secondhand in Amsterdam last year. I do buy clothes in England. I'm making myself sound like a real jet setter. But yeah, it's this. It's a giant top. It is Adidas, which I do have some awareness, because I do have quite a lot of branded or things with brands on. They're always secondhand, so I am always a little bit concerned about that, but then it often does actually work as a conversation starter, because obviously this is such a unique piece. People say, oh, where did you get that? And I say, secondhand. You know, if you really like these labels, there are ways to get them in a more sustainable way. I really like these colours. It's kind of the opposite of the other piece. This is really colourful, but it has this quite interesting sort of block pattern on the sleeves. I always feel quite cool in this because it is really an oversized t-shirt that I've decided is a dress. I always get complimented on it. I think because the colours are so interesting, they're not the normal colour combos that you see around. I do tend to wear like some little shorts underneath just for safety, but it's actually very versatile. You know, you can just sling a jacket over it, wear it with some nice shoes, wear it with some like big stompy kind of Doc Marten style boots if you want to feel really like kicking some butt. It's really fun. I wear it all the time. Those are the clothes that I've picked. They are quite a strange selection, I think, compared to a lot of ethical fashion bloggers, but I really like that about myself. At the end of the day, I'm an arty-farty, you know, British artist, and I think it goes to show that you don't always have to dress crazy minimal, you don't always have to fit into one category. I've never done capsule wardrobe or things like that. I love people that do that, but because I haven't grown in a decade, for me to do that I would have to throw out so much stuff that I've had for years. Instead, I've had this really fun time of collecting all these really strange, unique pieces that I compare in interesting ways with some minimal basics. Just have fun. Like, fashion can be fun even if it's ethical. The secondhand world is such a treasure trove if you are just willing to dive in. Don't be afraid. Don't throw everything away, don't go crazy, don't try and change everything overnight. That is a really tempting thing to do, I think, because it's a little bit like the rose-tinted glasses have been taken off. You've spent your whole life living a certain way because that's how you live. And then you realise that maybe that's not the only way, and maybe that's not the best way, and that can be really scary, and you can suddenly feel very, very guilty. And guilt can be really paralysing, or can lead you to make rash decisions. I would say try and avoid both of those things. It's good to have an acknowledgement of, oh, this stuff wasn't great, there are systemic problems here that maybe I've contributed to, but don't let guilt paralyze you, because at the end of the day, now you know. So let it mobilize you to do better things and to make better choices, but don't throw everything out, because that's not sustainable either. It's about the choices that you make going forwards. So one thing I did, I just stepped away from any fast fashion brands. I was quite lucky, I wasn't shopping there a ton because I was secondhand shopping a lot, but I just didn't go near them, didn't go in them, didn't look at them, didn't look at trends. Like, I was like, stay away from me. And that really helped, because when you wean off it, when it's gone, you kind of don't miss it, you forget what it was like before. If I ever go into a fast fashion shop now, I feel really overwhelmed. So you can get there, and don't think that you have to look the way everyone else looks in this world, the sustainable fashion world, or that you have to shop the way that they shop. Try and find the things that work for you. Just take it step by step. Maybe start thinking more about long-term things that you want in your wardrobe. So start thinking about things that you would want to last, and moving away from making really impulse, snap decisions about things. Starting with yourself, starting at home is great. Making those small decisions about where you're going to buy is great. But I think when you feel a bit more comfortable in that, then I would start looking at larger things that you can do. Are there things like Fashion Revolution events happening near you? Are there petitions that you could sign, ways that you could talk to your local policymaker, sustainable fashion businesses in your area that you could support. I think it's important. Consumer choice, so important. I'm so behind making better choices, but also then start trying to think bigger and trying to see perhaps ways that we can make policy change and we can demand more transparency. The organisation International Justice Mission has launched a big campaign called the Slave Free campaign, where they're trying to make it the normal, the standard, that things are slave free. That's a great step in the right direction. So, you know, have a look at things like that. Read great blogs and watch great YouTube videos like this, and just learn and take it step by step, because otherwise it gets a little bit crazy. So just give yourself some grace and give yourself some time, and yeah, keep working through it.
Thank you so much, Francesca, and I hope you guys enjoyed getting a peek into her wardrobe. She has so many incredible, unique pieces. Also, be sure to check out her blog. I will have it linked below. Thank you for watching, and thank you so much to those of you supporting me on Patreon, and I'll see you in the next one.